Here we are again. Good to see you. Good to be with you. Jesus' message includes a number of teachings that address the heart. They are about the life of feeling, the affective dimension of human experience. And the accent in these teachings is on joy. But we can wonder, how did Jesus process profound sadness? He didn't just push the happy button and suppress it. No, he went through it. Without going through the sadness authentically, he would not have had access to that fullness and depth of joy that we know in him. But there's a teaching of his that does address it. And I believe that in giving this teaching, Jesus is revealing a personal discovery that he had earlier in life. And that teaching is, happy are they who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Now, you can mourn for self or for others. And let's begin with mourning for oneself. Think of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, a short time before he would be arrested and tried and crucified. And in that unfathomable anguish, he prayed. He prayed 3 times. He needed to know, to be assured about the Father's will. And an angel came to him and strengthened him. Well, most of us are not at least aware of any angels strengthening us, but we do have the comforter within. The divine spirit of truth brings us calm and assurance and comfort. Now, let's talk about praying for others and grieving and mourning for others. There is a way of mourning for others, which basically involves being sensitive and responsive to human need. And when you are sensitive and responsive to human need, you get a reinforcement. There's something from the divine spirit within that comes into your soul, and you know the goodness that you are participating in. There's a happiness there. And as you make that your habit, then when you see a person in distress and in need, you can anticipate the joy of bringing good to that person. You're empathizing, you're sharing with that mourning. Okay, now let's go to a much more extreme case. Luke 19, when Jesus approached Jerusalem for the last time, he said, "Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How often have I desired to gather you under my wings, as a hen gathers her," sorry, try that again. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How often have I desired to gather your children together as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you were not willing. All right, there we can see very explicitly a mourning about killing the prophets and stoning those who were sent to it, those past atrocities that were committed. But when we look at this same quote that comes in Matthew 23, the preceding context makes it very clear that Jesus is grieving for what he knows is going to be coming on Jerusalem in the future. So we can grieve for the past, we can grieve for the future, and of course we can grieve for misery in the present. Today's many-sided global crisis causes many events that are occasions for mourning. Lost souls who despair of their personal future and have no hope for a beautiful planetary destiny. Some of them will be fortunate enough to meet you. And you who know God are fortunate enough to be able to share in that distress in a way that blesses with an affirmation of the goodness of God. You know, as Jesus knew, that all things work together for good. What that means is not that all things are good, but once God and those who work with God have finished, truly completed their work, then we will see the harvest of goodness and understand how it can be that all things work together for good. And so for now, no matter what is going on in your life and in our world, always know that you are a divinely created, spiritually indwelt, evolutionary free will son or daughter of God, whose spirit and friendship and goodness lives within you. Happy mourning.